Welcome to the Ocean City Real Estate and Lifestyle Podcast. I am Ryan Haley.
And I'm Stephen Diaz.
Great to get in touch with all of you and for us to have a platform here where we can share some of the things going on in Ocean City when it comes to real estate, when it comes to lifestyle. We've got some good topics lined up for today, don't we, Stephen?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got some informative topics that'll help people. We got a fun topic here at the end. Exciting time here in Ocean City. We actually have a sunny day. It's a little chilly today, but the sun's out, and we're right around the corner from Memorial Day, really. So
yeah, we were just talking about this in an earlier meeting. Like, things change suddenly. These seasons change suddenly. Just a couple weeks ago, we had snow, still on the ground, and thank God it's gone now. But
what a winter it's been. Yeah. Looking forward to more sunshine and some warmer temperatures moving forward here. So.
You're not the only one. Hopefully the entire Mid-Atlantic is hoping for that as well, and they're all going to come our way. But so 3 topics we want to touch on today. We're going to get into the Maryland Association of Realtors. They just released their stats here for February, which I want to talk about. Going to get into some rental regulations in Ocean City. This has been a hot topic for over a year now, and there's been some more developments there. And then finally, we got a fun one, like you said. We're going to talk about Ocean's Calling as that lineup has come out. And people are getting their tickets. So
lineup is out. I was able to get 3-day passes on the pre-sale. Very competitive to get those tickets. If
that's what
you
I heard.
No, but yeah, now we wait for the schedule that'll come out here probably next month or two. But yeah, always a great event in the fall, which has led to more events being created in the fall. So Looking forward to talking about the lineup. I think this might be one of my favorites.
Yeah, there's definitely a headliner there that I want to catch, which goes back to my youth, my high school days. So we'll hit on that here in a second, but let's start off with the Maryland Association of Realtors and the stats that have come out for February. As I was thinking about this topic and going through these stats, I really think that we've got like a tale of 2 markets or multiple markets within the state of Maryland.
100%. I mean, I think a lot of people are used to hearing national housing statistics or real estate statistics, which, that does a great job to give us a general idea of what's going on. Maryland itself has a ton of different markets right now as I look at the stats. So yeah, I mean, we can be really general, and I think we're going to cover the general stats, but also break it down what it means to us here in, Worcester, Wacomico County. And what it does to our business and how it affects our clients.
Yeah. So getting to them, we'll link these all up here into the notes here. But this is broad picture, macro, I guess, economics for the state of Maryland. But total number of units sold in February down 5.1%. Thoughts there, Stephen?
Not shocking. Again, rough winter weather-wise. So I think it has. There's a couple factors there. Obviously, we saw a little uncertainty in the nation, in the world economy. So that had some effect. But also here locally, the weather. This is, I'm a Maryland guy, born and raised, been here my whole life. This is the worst winter I can recall, weather-wise. So I think it just kept people in their house more, less traveling. When it's cold, no one really wants to do anything. So I think that definitely played a role, part of the role into a small decrease in units sold across the state.
Right. Yeah. So we're down 5.1% on total units sold for the state. When we look at our pricing, the pricing is actually up both on the average as well as the median for the month of February. We're up 3.3% on the average and 3.7% on the median. So that takes us to, on the average, we're at $489,000 is the average sales price right now for a property in Maryland. And then our median is pretty much in line with, I think, the national numbers. We're sitting at $425,000 is the median sales price in Maryland. Thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to, we're seeing kind of average appreciation, which is nice. 3% on the average price. Obviously, that's year over year. So that's kind of what we want to see for a healthy market. So it shows that everybody that's invested in real estate recently has made a good decision, honestly, because prices are continuing to increase while modestly, not the 20-25% we were seeing year over year, but 3% is a very healthy growth and shows the signs of a pretty stable market, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point, which you made a good point, this is year over year. This is not like December to January to February. This is truly from February of 25 to what we see here in February of 2026. So I mean, if you're really looking at it, you're just looking at what the equity that somebody might have gained. I mean, last year at this time, the median sales price was $410. Now we're at $425,000. That's $15,000 more in possible equity that somebody has in their home in a year.
100%. I mean, it just shows that real estate over time is always a winning investment. So,
right.
I think we got caught up in the short-term gains a few years ago, but now we're seeing the market stabilize and get back to what we want to see moving forward.
Right. And I guess another way of looking at this too, which is not always the common way of looking at it, but we're up 3.3% average, right, and 3.7% median. But when we look at the rate of inflation being 2.7%, we're really up 1%.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Yes, but still good to see growth. I mean, the key factor there is we're seeing plus signs. So,
right.
Housing is appreciating. We're seeing more people buy, which that's a great sign for the market.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, all right. So units, the number of sales down, prices up. That's kind of mirrored what we've seen for the last 3-4 years in the actual market in general. This is a forward-looking indicator here, but we're going to look at actually units pending. So, the difference here for properties that are under contract, which will be going to settlement in the future, is up. So we went from 4,700 roughly in 2025 at this time to now 4,981. So just under 5,000 units pending right now, which is a good indicator of what we'll see in the future.
Another great sign for the market here. I mean, obviously we're getting to the more robust months as far as buying goes. So to see February, traditionally not one of the busier months in the year, to have it that solid of an increase in pending units is a great indicator for the market moving forward. And I know you're about to touch on this. The one challenge that we might see as we continue through the year is Maryland's a state that we really haven't grown much inventory over the past couple of years. So we've been pretty even as far as our inventory numbers go. We might see months during the year where we gain a little bit, but then the other months it kind of gets eaten right up. So I know you're going to hit on active inventory, but we're down almost 3,000 units year over year across the state. So while the trends of units pending were great in February, we are going to need to see more inventory come to the market for those pending units to continue throughout the year.
Right. I mean, the problem you have here, and where this could get a little dicey as we move forward, is when you have less to choose from, but your demand remains constant, that has a tendency to put upward pressure on prices, right?
100%.
So, I mean, we're not even into the full spring market yet, and we're already in a deficit, of what, 3,000, just over 3,000 units. So, to kind of piggyback on what Stephen said here, last year at this time, at the end of February, we had 14,505 total properties for sale in the state of Maryland. 14,505. Fast forward to today, we're at 11,720. So that's a pretty big deficit as far as, I shouldn't say deficit, but a reduction in the total available units.
Well, it's a hole, right? It's a hole that we have to dig out of. So, if we want buyers to have options, we are definitely going to need to see more inventory come to the market. Now, that again, these are different pockets across the state that have some of these inventory issues, but Maryland as a whole is a state that here in the country that is not seeing the glut of inventory that other states have, which keeps the market competitive for sure. There's some other numbers here, months of inventory. We probably don't really need to go over. It's a couple months, 2.1 months, about the same as last year. We had 2.5 months of inventory in 2025. But just to kind of look at these indicators, the new listings is the one that's kind of caught my attention here. So we're talking about being down active inventory and also being down new listings that came to the market. So we saw about 2,400 less new listings in February. So based off this February from February 2025. So again, we just have a hole of inventory right now. I think the weather's played a role in that, as we discussed a little bit earlier today. Again, when the weather's bad, you don't want to have photos. If you're a seller, you might not want people coming through your house, getting it dirty, or it might just not be showing really well if you're living there because you have had to do some extra cleaning, some extra sidewalk shoveling, and it presents another set of challenges for sellers when the weather's that bad. So I think as we turn the corner into the spring, we will see that new listing number start to increase and hopefully get some more inventory here.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think the weather, I hate to be that guy. It's like, oh, the weather is what did it. But it's honestly, in this case, for all the years that I've been in the mid-Atlantic or, even into the Northeast, I can't remember a winter when we've had quite this much snow for as long a period of time as we had, which makes it very difficult to list properties. And we could see a boomerang effect. We could, on both accounts here, we could see a boomerang effect where all of a sudden there's this huge influx of people wanting to sell, right? So we have more listings hitting the market. And actually, when there's more to choose from, that helps sales.
Sure.
Usually we get more sales when there's more to choose from. So we could actually see units sold go up in the future here as well, is my guess.
100%. I think as we get more certainty around the market, kind of around the global economy moving forward, I think we'll see sales continue to increase, especially if we get that inventory piece. I do think inventory is just lagging a bit behind this year, but we're still seeing new listings every single day across all the counties we serve, and we're seeing interested buyers in those listings as well. So, it's been an interesting start to the year, but I think this is going to be a great year moving forward for both buyers and sellers.
Right. How about the days on market? What are we seeing there?
So median across the state has increased a bit. It's gone up about 9 days. So median days on market 2025 was 17, and 2026 it's 26. So another week or so, but still nothing. We're not getting to extended days on market in most markets here, most counties.
Right. When I think about our listings and I think about what the sellers we're helping and the buyers that we're helping purchase properties, I think that is a tale of the haves and the have-nots a little bit too. Like you've got some properties that have been on the market for a while. Like maybe they came on last fall and they're sitting and they're taking longer to sell and their days on market are accumulating. And then we have others that are coming on and it's like just going right away.
100%. I mean, I think some of that is, we still have a buyer backlog. There's still buyers that over the past couple of years have not been able to find that right opportunity, that right property for them. So they're on Zillow, they're on Realtor.com. Right. They have instant alerts. That new listing's coming up in Ocean City. That's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath oceanfront, and immediately they're getting an email that says, "Hey, this is here." And if you're priced right and you're showing well, you're getting offers pretty quickly and you're getting a lot of activity. So it's definitely a time that if you've got a unique listing, if you can price it competitively, if you can get it showing really well, you're not gonna sit as long on the market as some others.
Right.
We definitely have some, what I like to describe as ghost inventory, some stuff it's been out there maybe 6 months, maybe a year. We've seen one price drop and maybe it's just not killing the seller. Maybe they're living there and they don't have somewhere to go. They haven't found that right property. Maybe it's a second home they bought back in 2020 that cost them $90,000. Now it's worth $180,000, and they, that mortgage isn't killing them, so they can let it sit there for a little bit. So,
yeah.
But to me, that's ghost inventory. That's not things that people want to see as much, or we're getting as many calls on.
How many of them are actually saleable, right?
Sure.
The way they're priced, the way they're positioned, as opposed to just sitting there.
If you've been on the market over a year, there's usually a reason why.
All right. A story. What's the story? Okay, so that's Maryland macro. Now let's break it down to kind of the micro by the county. We're not going to get into every county here, but the one I do really want to focus on is Worcester County here, which is the Greater Ocean City county, which services everything from the Delaware line down to the Virginia line, and in west almost to Salisbury. So Worcester County in the last or since in February of 2026 compared to February of 2025, units sold. We are actually not down anywhere near as much as what the state is. State's down 5.1%. We're down just a tad at 0.8%.
One sale. We're just down one sale from year over year. So, yeah, someone didn't make it down the Ocean City one weekend when they were going to buy. So,
right. So it's 128 sales here in 26, 129 last year. So, very, I guess that'd be nominal, right? Sure. Hard to really measure. Average sales price, though. What are we seeing there?
Again, small drop. I mean, I think the best way to describe the Worcester County market right now is probably flat. We're seeing some very small, less than 1% drops in some of these items. Average sales price down about $3,000 from $484 to just about $481. So again, that could be what's on the market, what buyers are out there buying right now. That's not really indicative that the prices here are dropping, because we're going to get to our next stat, which is the median sales price. And we're going to see that that's actually increased almost 9%. So
Right.
our median sales price in 2025 was 415,000, just under 415,000. And now February 2026, our median sales price is 452. So office meeting today, we got into a little bit about what median and average means. What I'll say that we've realized is none of us are mathematicians here. So,
Right.
but median is the direct middle price in the market. So exactly in the middle of what's being sold. So the 452 shows that we're selling some higher price properties, whereas maybe the average price dropping by a little bit just means that some of the properties available for sale so far this month have been a little bit on the lower, that lower cost end. So the median sales price being up 9% is a great indicator, even though we're seeing a small decrease in average sales price here.
Right. And that's one of those ones I immediately think of, like headlines. It's all about the headlines, whether you're scrolling through your social media feeds or, what we're seeing in the news somewhere. I mean, you could have a completely different picture depending on what somebody wants to use for the headline. They could say average sales price is down in Ocean City, where the median sales price is up 9%. It's kind of crazy.
100%. I mean, I think we see that all the time, the sensationalist headlines. I mean, obviously we could put out a post that says sales prices are dropping in Worcester County. Now might be the time to sell. But without the extra info, it doesn't really mean anything.
You're 100% right. Okay, moving on to the forward indicator here. What's going to happen in the future? Units pending coming out of February. We had in the month of February in 2025, we had 165 go under contract, where this year we're at 151. So we're down there, what, about 14?
14, about 10%. So again,
Yeah.
Nothing that scares me. Nothing that makes me concerned about the market moving forward. It's the normal ebbs and flows. Again, I think I hate to be the weather guy as well, but this is the worst winter we've seen. We are a second home market. We're a market that during the winter, our population decreases greatly. So Worcester County, known for being a second home market. If you don't have people coming to visit because they're home dealing with whatever they have to deal with because of the snowstorms they got, we are going to see a small decrease in our activity. And I think, again, that's one of the major factors that played a role here, is that town has just been a little bit slow to open the year.
Right. And it's also a smaller subject size too. I mean, we're here in Worcester County, you're talking 151 versus 165, which is, that's just literally 14 people. Sure. Like that for whatever reason couldn't make it down, couldn't buy, versus some of our larger counties. Like if you go up into Baltimore County and Baltimore City, I mean, you're talking, 595 transactions in 1 month versus our 150. So it's a smaller subject size to some extent too.
It's a different market, but
right.
We're getting there.
All right. Active inventory, when we compare 25 to 26, last year we had 736 properties for sale, while this year we're at 695.
Yeah, that follows almost exactly the Maryland trend of being down 5%, which I think we've kind of beat those factors a little bit as to why we might have seen some of that. But, I'm talking to people that are thinking about selling this year. I know you're talking to people that are thinking about selling this year. So it's really just a matter of time. The market is a lot about timing. Even last month when I was launching some listings, I mean, we were having to duck and dodge to make sure that photos were going to look good, that we were going to be able to market the property properly. So there could be some people that just couldn't get into that window in the past 45 days or so, and they're probably about to hit the market soon.
Right. And then at the end of the day, when you look at all these numbers, and you can take some for your headlines, you can make them go whatever way you want. Ultimately, the thing that's remained the same, and this is one thing I talk about every single week when I do my weekly market reports, is the months of inventory. The months supply has remained the same.
Exactly the same. 4.3 months. A lot of people will look at months of inventory. I think 6 months is kind of what most folks feel is, kind of a neutral or even market. I got to say, even at 4.3 months, I still feel like we're in a pretty even market right now where, it's a great time to be a seller if you've got a good property, but also if you're a buyer, you've got some sellers that are willing to negotiate with you, do some repairs. And You also don't have to rush. I mean, you can take a couple days to see a property, see multiple properties, and really make an informed decision, unlike you could do a few years ago. So,
yeah,
in my opinion, it's all the factors are looking right for a stable market throughout the year, which is exactly what we want.
yeah. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the entire decade from like 2010 to 2019, where we had this slow growth and slow growth in number of sales, slow growth in values, and I'll take that if we can get back to that, what we call normal years. I'll welcome that all day long.
100%. Yeah, definitely reminds me, of like 10 years ago getting into the business, where things took some work, unlike COVID, where it was kind of automatic. Now you gotta work for it. So that's good. That's exactly what we want as professionals and for our clients and consumers.
Right. So wrapping up the stats here from Maryland, the thing that comes to my mind is if you want to sell, you still have to be conscientious of your price. You gotta take the advice of your agent who's going through and giving you some counseling on it. You got to be conscientious of how the condition, how it shows, and do all the right stuff to ensure you're going to have a successful listing and sale.
100%. Listings are definitely taking some more attention now, taking some more time, making sure you have the right strategies. But what it makes me think about is our buyers, is the folks that maybe have been sitting on the sidelines, that have been waiting for whether it be prices to come down or interest rates to come down. I mean, we're honestly, we're not seeing prices come down. Will we see interest rates come down? We might, and we did a few weeks ago, but at small pockets. You got to be ready to move as a buyer when the rates drop. But what we can see is that prices are continuing to go up. So the longer you wait, you really are costing yourself money at this time if you're a buyer.
Right. So buyers, be ready to go. What about the seller side there? I mean, what if you have a seller that says to you, well, prices are going up 3.7% or 3.3%, depending if it's median or average. I mean, is that enough to say, I'm going to wait because prices will be significantly higher in the future? Or is there a window where they might want to take advantage of getting it on the market?
I think that depends what their goals are. If they're looking to sell and then buy, you're going to kind of be canceling yourself out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if your price goes up, so is the one you're going to purchase. I mean, if you're someone that's thinking about getting out of maybe an investment property or a second home, something like that, I think you just got to weigh the pros and cons. What's needed at the unit? Do you need to do some updates? Is there things that you've been putting off? Is waiting another year for 3% worth it to you? Or does it just make sense to cash out now? I think it's a very unique proposition. I think if you're someone that's looking to sell and buy, the sooner the better, because we just know that prices are going to continue to rise. Again, modestly. But if you're someone that is looking to liquidate something, then I think you really got to look at what is going to be best for you. If you need to do some updates, you need to kind of bring it up to speed, maybe it's time to cash out now. But if you got something that's killing it on the rental market and it's not hurting you to carry it, then I think a long-term hold's always good in real estate.
Good. I like it. Well, you mentioned the rental market. That's topic number 2 here. Moving on. Rental regulations in Ocean City. Obviously, this has been a hot topic for well over a year. We saw, quite a bit of chatter there for a period of time talking about single-family homes are the R1 district and the mobile home districts and your ability to do short-term rentals. Where do we sit on that as of March 2026?
Still working through it some ways, but the moratorium has been lifted, so you can apply for a rental application at this point. I think a lot of communities have been subjected to 7-day minimum rentals, and we are something that I've been talking to people about, and we're doing a Worcester County focused podcast now, but we sell in Delaware as well.
Right.
We're seeing short-term rentals become kind of an issue across the board, I would say, where you're seeing more communities restrict how long rentals can be done. Seeing a lot of like 7-day or 30-day minimums out there in some communities in Delaware, even some condo associations here. So we're kind of working through it. What I wanted to touch on though is the rental inspections. So
right.
I don't know if everybody knows this, but on a 5-year basis, all the rentals in Ocean City randomly get inspected. And I guess there's been like 3 issues that have been coming up based off some of the new regulations. So I just want to quickly touch on those. what I would say is if you have a property manager, just get in touch with them. Make sure that you're compliant with everything. Make sure that if there's any updates or anything you need to add, have been done to either your unit or your advertising, just to make sure you don't get caught red-handed doing something that maybe you didn't even know you were doing incorrectly. So the big one probably is going to be occupancy limits. So we've seen some one bedrooms, some two bedrooms go from one bedroom seen some go from 4 to 3 max occupants. Two bedrooms, some go from 6 to 5. So obviously, going to impact families that can rent. The weird thing is, it used to be done off bedroom size and how many bedrooms you had, but now they're using the International Builders Code, and that actually goes off living room square footage. So not only do you have to have the bedrooms, but you also have to have a certain amount of living room square footage for your occupancy, which I believe is 40 per person in the living room area. So a little bit different than what we've seen in Ocean City in the past. It's been mainly a bedroom and bedroom square footage measure, and they're now using this International Builders Code, which is, again, just small changes, but you don't want to be out there as a one bedroom advertising that you can sleep 4 if really the city says you can sleep 3. So just something to be aware of there. The next big one would be smoke detectors. So, a lot of our older buildings built in the 70s, the requirement was to have the detectors in the hallways or the living areas of the units. Now they have to be in all the bedrooms. So if you have 2 bedrooms, make sure you have one in each bedroom. 1 bedroom, you have a smoke detector there. Not super costly. They don't have to be hardwired, so you can go to Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace, and grab your 10-year sealed, Maryland required, Maryland updated smoke detector, and just make sure you have one in every bedroom. And then this is an interesting one. It's something we were talking about a little bit before we started. We have some buildings that, they're 2 bedrooms, they're 1 bedrooms, but they have a den.
Right.
And, everybody's always asked us, hey, Ryan, what can I do? What can I do with this den? Can I use it as a bedroom?
Right.
And, years past, we've probably said yes, or there's a possibility, check in with your rental company and see what they say. Converted dwelling. So dens no longer allowed to be counted as bedrooms, whether they have drywall, a room divider or not. You're only allowed to include the bedrooms and bathrooms that were on your original certificate of occupancy. So we've seen that conversions. I've seen bedrooms added. I've seen half baths converted to full baths. I've seen bathrooms added without anybody, getting permits or approval. When we've ran into that situation, whether listing or helping a buyer, we typically try and get that rectified before. But sometimes it doesn't happen, but you're not being grandfathered in. So if you have something like that, you're going to have to, again, either not advertise it or just make sure you're enforcing your occupancy limits.
Right. Yeah, this one's going to get interesting, I think, and I have not dug into the exact details on the occupancy piece, but there, this minimum square footage, I think, is going to tie some people's hands when it comes to how they've enjoyed their properties for some period of time. I've seen, some people that take a 1 bedroom and they've got 2 beds in the bedroom area plus a pull-out sofa, and you get 6 in there. So if the living room is not going to meet the size requirements for the right occupancy, that's going to change things up a little bit.
Sure. And I think there's still more to come out with this.
Yeah.
This is still going to continue to be kind of, I can't think of the word, but kind of perfected over time, per se. It's going to be an evolving document. I think what we want it right now and what the city's goal was to just probably start enforcing the regulations that we've had on the books more closely. And now they're just looking at other things as well. I think the big thing to remember is that we all want everybody to enjoy the property they've bought. While Ocean City has been we talk about a hybrid investment a lot, where you're buying a condo. This is how I kind of grew up. You have a condo that you vacation at, and then it's being rented a lot of the time. So you can afford it, to be completely honest, and you can have that dream of beach ownership. Obviously, some people bought into different communities thinking it was more year round. So maybe, I think there's good points on each side, and I look forward to continue to learn more about the regulations and to kind of see how this shakes out as this year and the next years, the years in the future unfold. So
yeah. I mean, things are constantly in flux. Things are changing all the time. I mean, just like a couple years ago, we had the reserve study requirements come out for condos. It took a little bit of time for everybody to kind of wrap their head around it. And it seems like it's shaking out or leveling out now a little bit there. I think these rentals will continue to be something we're talking about next year at this time as well. So.
Yeah, again, it's just a change to the system. So we're just trying to figure it out. We want to make sure everybody kind of knows what's going on. I'd say, again, the biggest thing is that if you have a rental company, make sure you're consulting them. Make sure that your advertisements have been updated, that everything is, on the straight and narrow. So that way you're not getting fined. You're not hearing from the city. So that would be my main advice. And if you're an Airbnb or a VRBO owner, there are online resources that you can check out to make sure, again, that you're hitting those standards. And if you can always reach out to us too. We'd be happy to offer some guidance if you have any other questions, or at least point you in the right direction.
Yeah, I think that's the key there. If you are with a rental company, make sure you're talking to those property managers early on, so you're complying. So, okay, that takes topic number 2 there, the rental regulations. Going on to our final topic here, which is it's more about the lifestyle piece, right? It's not as much just real estate, but Oceans Calling, the Oceans Calling Festival, which will take place September 25th through the 27th of 2026 here, kind of in our second season, shoulder season there. The lineup was announced here a couple weeks back. So what are your thoughts? Who are we seeing here, Stephen?
It was cold. It was snowy when the lineup came out. People were begging for the Oceans Calling lineup. I don't know if on Facebook, nobody could wait. And I thought it was hilarious because when it came out, it was a very, very divided opinion. Some people thought it was a great lineup, and others absolutely hate it. So I think this is the 5th year of Oceans Calling. 1 year, the first year was canceled because of hurricanes. A great event. I mean, 3 days of huge bands that right on the beach. You'd never think in all the years that something like this would happen. Not only is this a regular occurrence now, but now we have country calling.
Right.
Now you have Rock the Boardwalk. So this has opened the door to so many other events. I myself, being an 80s baby, this is one of my favorite lineups I've seen come out, to be completely honest. Excited to share. My daughter, we actually got a 3-day pass for this year. So she's 14. She's excited to see probably some different people than I'm excited to see, but that's okay. I'm a huge OAR guy, so the band that organized the festival, I've seen them over 20, 30 times live, so I always look forward to seeing them. But some of my other highlights going down the list, Dave Matthews Band on Friday, great headliner. Hootie and the Blowfish, also a great headliner. Yellow Card, so if you were a early 2000s high school, college kid, Yellow Card is probably going to mean a lot to you. I saw them at Tiger Fest. I believe it was 2005. Awesome, kind of emo pop punk band. Ludacris, you always have to have that early 2000s rapper in at Oceans Calling to kind of bring the vibes. Also looking forward to Shaggy and Everlast on Friday. Last one on Friday, my wife and I, we actually connected over Swayze back in the day. So I don't know if anybody is familiar with Swayze. Like a California kind of rapper, good times, good vibe, happy rap music. So definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah. So then fun continues on day 2. 21 Pilots, yes. Gwen Stefani, Goo Goo Dolls, Third Eye Blind, All Time Low, 311, Violent Femmes. That one, I think Christy had that like tape stuck in her Renault, her first car was the Violent Femmes. Dashboard Confessional. What is that one? Corinne Bailey Ray. I'm
not familiar with Corinne Bailey Ray, but I'm sure others are, and we're going to get blasted for not knowing who she is.
Right. Everclear, Dishwalla, Goldford, Cassandra Coleman, rounding out there the second day, Saturday.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've heard 21 Pilots puts on a great show. All Time Low. If you don't know All Time Low, they're another Maryland band. So along the lines of OAR, guys that are from the state, they play at Ravens games, at Orioles games. Another pop punk band I saw a bunch growing up. So I'm super excited to see them. 311. Saturday should definitely be a fun day. Going to be a lot of stuff to kind of. And then Goo Goo Dolls, who actually they made a special performance last year. I don't know if you know, but they were the lead singer was here for OAR and Friends last year on Sunday, kind of foreshadowing the entire band's, I guess, debut here this year. So
bringing the whole crew this time. So then finally Sunday, Mumford and Sons and Matchbox 20 as your headliners. Camp, My Morning Jacket, The Head and the Heart, Hanson, right? Is that Hanson?
Hanson.
Jet, OK Go, Susanna Hoffs, Corey Wong, Fastball, Nat Myers, and then, which is always one of the best, I think, events on this Sunday is the special set by OAR and Friends, which is always a good one.
Yeah, Sunday's always an interesting day for me. I mean, you've been going hard for 2 days.
I'm a little tired on Sunday.
Yeah, you're a little worn out. So a lot of times early in the day, you got some slower, some softer stuff on Sunday. Then we, OK Go had a couple big singles back in the early 2000s. They'll be fun. Hanson, Bop. Who doesn't remember Bop? So that's for us millennials, I guess you would say. My Morning Jacket, another great kind of like, they're a little prog rock, but they should put on a good show. They've got some really upbeat stuff that's fun to kind of go along with. Mumford and Sons, Matchbox 20. I don't think you can go wrong with either of those headliners. And then, if you're the OAR and Friends sets, when they, they bring out some of the most awesome musicians you've ever seen and play songs that might be theirs, might not be theirs. It's just a really big celebration that I think makes this festival a little special. So,
right. Yeah, I think it's all around. It's a good lineup. It's funny you said like pretty divided. My kids who've gone, I think every year. They went last year. I didn't go, but they've gone every year, and they kind of were not as thrilled by this lineup as I would be.
Yeah, I think it there's something
Depends
for everybody,
kid,
is what I would say. Like my daughter last year only wanted to go one day for Noah Khan, however you say it. So we went last Saturday in the pouring down rain. So this year she wanted to get a 3-day pass. She's actually excited about Shaggy on Friday, which I thought was kind of funny. But what I love about Ocean's Calling too is kind of being able to come and go. So, it's all day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Obviously people have things going on. So think you can enter up until 9 p.m. So you can kind of come and go. You can only re-enter up till 7. So they do cut that off. But I remember last year on Sunday we were tied up, and my wife and I actually didn't go in until I think 8:30 p.m. on Sunday.
Really?
We call it Fallout Boy, to end the weekend. So I love being able to come and go. The weather always makes it a unique event. You never really know what you're going to get. Each year I feel like there's been some sunny days, there's been some cold days, there's been some rainy days. So just really makes for a great event, and just keeps getting better in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think it's they do a great job. It's fantastically put together. It's run well. OAR is one of my favorites, and they've definitely got their touch, on the whole event. Dave Matthews Band. That was my high school years. Spent lots of time going to see Dave Matthews live in concert, as well as listening to it in every vehicle that I was ever in. So it looks to be a good weekend for sure. Excited to have it coming up here pretty soon. Excuse me.
Yeah, something I always look forward to. Bought tickets right away. I think even if you don't love the bands, it's just something you got to do. It's something you live here. It's not everyone gets an awesome festival like this, to be completely honest with you. So
it's right in your backyard.
Take advantage of
on the beach.
OAR again. They were getting big when I was in high school. All Time Low, who was included this year, they were getting big. I guess right after I got out of high school, had buddies from high school that toured with them. So I'm super stoked for this lineup.
Yeah. Should be good. And so the thing I like about this in these events is it extends our season.
Yeah.
So many people talk about like why to invest in Ocean City, why to buy a rental property. Like the rental rates that you can get during these festivals it's crazy. So these events really allow our market to become more year round and certainly has a huge economic push.
Such a great point. I know a lot of these places, a lot of people, there's Facebook groups, I'm sure people are, but the rentals they're gone. The rentals are pretty much all booked up for that weekend. So, right. And yes, the rates are great. The following weekend we have countries calling. So yeah, the shoulder seasons have really expanded, and I think we'll continue to see that. Ocean City is a destination. People want to come here.
Right. Well, that pretty much wraps up our 3 topics here. So, Stephen, it's been good. We're happy to see some better weather. Anything on your calendar here for the next week that looks exciting? I know as we've transitioned from the winter to spring, you get extremely busy with family activities.
Yes,
so
Steven's very busy this week, as I'm sure you are as well. I'm actually heading to Orioles opening day on Thursday, which will be a great time. My son has a few Decatur baseball games spread out over the week, and my daughter and wife will be headed to Nashville for a cheerleading competition on Thursday. So, trying to squeeze some work in while holding down the fort and making sure I can attend and be there for everybody. But that's why we do what we do. If I can't make it at 4, I'll be there at 6.
There you go. And I'm doing the flip. I've got cheer coming to Ocean City, Reach the Beach this weekend. So my girls will be in Ocean City at the convention center with Reach the Beach. And then I got a lacrosse game on Saturday. Beach lacrosse has their first opening weekend here. So it's a busy time.
Best time of year.
That's right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We're going to try to get you some more information here in the next couple weeks. If you like this information, please share it with a friend. And until next time, make it a great day.
We'll talk soon.